to come and lead in the reading of the preamble, and I will also be responsible for inviting and introducing our Deputy Minister. Have you all got the constitutions? Is this room full of youth? Yes. Have you all got the constitution? Yes. Okay, I'm a bit older, so maybe my energy is not coming out. Right. Can I see you wave the constitutions? Just wave it up in the air. Do you believe in that thing? Yes. Do you believe in that thing? Yes. Okay, so that constitution is such a very important document for you. You are the future of South Africa, right? So we're going to do something now. We're going to all rise up. You open your constitution, I think it's on chapter 1. Oh, sorry, not chapter 1, page 1. I think it's page 1, if I'm not mistaken. Have you all got that? So we're going to read the constitutions together. I'm going to lead, you follow through. This is an honor for me to actually lead. It's usually our Deputy Minister who leads us in the preamble reading. All right, so you will repeat after me. I'm going to start again. We, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustices of our past. Honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land. Respect those who have worked to build and develop our country. And believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, united in our diversity. We, therefore, through our freely elected representatives, adopt this constitution as the supreme law of the Republic, so as to heal the divisions of the past and establish a society based on the democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. Lay the foundations for a democratic and open society in which government is based on the will of the people, and every citizen is equally protected by law. Improve the quality of life of all citizens and free the potential of each person and build a united and democratic South Africa, able to take its rightful place as a sovereign state in the family of nations. May God protect our people. Nkosi sikeleli Africa. Morena boluka setšhaba sa heso. Hot CN South Africa. God bless South Africa. Modzimu fatusetsa Africa. Hosi katekisa Africa. Thank you so very much. You can clap hands for yourself. That was really great. Now, I just want to, again, reflect on the fact that today we're celebrating the 50th of youth protest, which was in Soweto on June 16. Do you remember that? You were not there, right? There were other protests that followed those protests, okay? But this one was one milestone in the history of South Africa. June 16, 1976. After that protest, you may not know that Oliver Tambo immediately put together an ANC Constitution Committee in Zambia. That was 10 years after 1976, and that is 1986. It's very visionary. 1986, apartheid is still thick in South Africa. There's no chance you can actually be thinking about a constitution by then. But he put together a team. It was led by none but Kader Asmal, Albie Sachs, Penuel Maduna. We also had Bridget Mabandla, and I think there was a number of other people in that committee. 1986. That team spearheaded in those negotiations. And in 1996, 10 years after, the visionaries' vision came through. The Constitution is adopted in Parliament. So here are 30 years now we're celebrating that Constitution signed in 1996. That is beautiful, isn't it? In a story of how the youth contributed and started the fire. I will now take my time to introduce the keynote address speaker today, our Deputy Minister, who I believe was the youth of 1986. The Honorable Andries Nel, Member of Parliament, is a Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development. He was born in New Orleans. I see here they didn't write when he was born. I'll give you a hint. He was born in New Orleans, in the USA, while his father was serving there as a South African consul. He grew up in different continents around the world, and in his early years developed a passion for justice and human rights. Mr. Nel studied law at the University of Pretoria, where he was active as an anti-apartheid activist and a student leader. He began his career just after studying law with the Law for Human Rights. There he coordinated its capital punishment program and a penal reform project. And immediately after that, he was elected as a member of Parliament. I believe, Deputy Minister, you were one of the youngest members of Parliament. I said, I'll give you a hint. I think he must have been like 28, if he's not 27, as a member of Parliament. Wow. In 1994 to 1996, Parliament sits and drafts the Constitution. Deputy Minister gets involved with that in the writing of the Constitution. And of course, in over 3 decades, he served as the whip, the deputy and acting chief whip, the House chairperson of National Assembly, the deputy minister of both Department of Justice and Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs later on. After working at the ANC's headquarters as a coordinator of the National Executive and a National Working Committee between 2019 and 2024, he was elected as a Member of Parliament again in 2024 and appointed as Deputy Minister of Justice. All right. In addition to his duties as a public representative, he is a research fellow at the University of Johannesburg, Institute for Advanced Studies at the University of Johannesburg, and the director of the Mapungube Institute of Strategic Reflection, also known as MISTRA. Mr. Nel, throughout his career, has reflected a deep commitment to constitutional democracy, human rights, and expanding access to justice for all South Africans. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andries Nel, the Deputy Minister of the Department of Justice.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Mbonambi, and Program Director, the one and only and forever and ever after Ntembeni Mzobe. It's also a great pleasure to be with the representatives of a number of institutions, important institutions for our constitutional democracy. And I'm thinking particularly of Ms. Kuleliwe Sitole of the South African Human Rights Commission, Ms. Moagisi Letlaku of the IEC. We also have our hosts here, Ms. Katlego Sekwati of We the People, Ms. Mbali Baduza, the CEO of We the People. Very, very honored to be with the one and only Mr. Tembaletu Seisi of the Center for Social Justice at the University of Stellenbosch. And particularly, and now I must choose my words very, very carefully, because there are two representatives on my notes here. They say from the youth of 1976, Thabo Ndabeni and Lennox Klaas. Now, I was saying to them earlier that I belong to the youth of 1985. They are the generation of 76. I belong to the generation of what was called the Young Lions of the 1980s. We also have representatives in a number of government institutions, Ms. Senzi Malaza of COGTA and Ms. Sihle Chabalala of the National Youth Development Agency. We also have the Commission for Gender Equality, the Guardians of Democracy, organized by We the People. But I think most importantly, I'm told, and I haven't counted, but I don't have any reason to doubt, that we have 70 young people from universities, and particularly also members of the Black Lawyers Association student chapter. And we also, I think very, very importantly, have with us 30 young people who are working at the Department of Justice, many of them also doing internships there. Now, we're meeting, as many before me have said, during Youth Month, and also in a year that South Africa is celebrating the 30th anniversary of the adoption of our Constitution in 1996. And that commemoration of the adoption of our Constitution is being celebrated nationally in a whole of government and whole of society program under the theme, One Constitution, One Nation. One Constitution, One Nation. Reflect, renew, and recommit. Before I talk about other things. I just want to say a few words about the reciting of the preamble to our Constitution. And I think it's a very, very important act for us as South Africans to perform, along with singing our national anthem, which is a beautiful hymn and a prayer, and an invocation for peace and protection, a reaffirmation of our commitment to unity, to peace, and to progress. The reciting of the preamble to the Constitution contains the essence of what our Constitution is all about. It really defines, it outlines the values and the aspirations that say who we are as a nation, but also, very importantly, what we seek to become as a nation and as a South African people. The theme of one constitution, one nation, reflect, renew, recommit, I think is also a very important one. We are faced at a time in our history, 30 years into our constitutional democracy, where a lot has been achieved, but equally, not all is well in our country. And we need to be open and honest and confront that. One of the things that is not right in our country is increasing divisions and inequalities. Inequalities between genders, inequalities between races, inequalities between class, inequality in sexual orientation, inequality and division in people of different national origins. And so the theme, one nation, one constitution, is very, very important. Because the struggle of generations of South Africans has been for the affirmation that we are one country. It's something that we very often treat as obvious. When we say that we aim to build a united, non-racial, democratic, non-sexist, and prosperous South African nation, there's a reason why we start with united. It's against the backdrop of the divisions that were sought to be the colonialism and later apartheid sought to enforce, to force on the people of South Africa. The creation of so-called homelands, taking people of different languages and ethnicities and saying, you're not a citizen of South Africa. You are a citizen of the Transkei, or of Bophuthatswana, or Gazankulu, or Venda, or Ciskei. And we must really be vigilant and guard against all attempts to divide us again as a nation, to mobilize each other against each other on the basis of race, of ethnicity. And we're seeing very troubling signs in the recent past as we are dealing with the very important and very legitimate concern that South Africans have for the integrity of our borders, for knowing who is in our country, for what reason, for how long. But at the same time, there are others, those that President Oliver Tambo called the wedge drivers, who are going around and whispering amongst, but the fact that I'm an Afrikaner, does that not mean that I'm better? The fact that I'm a Xhosa, does that mean I can't live next to so-and-so? Those from up north who are a little bit darker, are they really South Africans? Those are tendencies that we must fight with all passion and stand united in defeating those tendencies that seek to take us back. One nation, one constitution, one constitution, one nation. And as we commemorate the 30th anniversary of the adoption of the Constitution and the 50th anniversary of the Soweto uprising, we honor the courage of young people who changed the course of our history. The youth of 1976 stood up against injustice. They demanded dignity, equality, and a voice in determining their future and the future of their country. Their struggle was much more than a struggle around language policy, as important as that was. It was about freedom, opportunity, and human dignity. The sacrifices that they made, not only in the course of the uprising, but out of that uprising, continuing that struggle in civic organizations, in trade unions, in women's organizations, in youth organizations, and in many cases leaving the country to take up arms, to return and to fight. That laid the basis for the democratic South Africa that we have today. It laid the foundation for the Constitution that protects our rights and freedoms. But commemoration alone is not enough. The real question before us is, what does the Constitution mean for young people in South Africa today? Because for many young South Africans, constitutional rights can often seem distant from daily realities. When a young person cannot find work, despite years of study and effort, the promise of dignity feels incomplete. When a young woman fears violence on her way to school, university, or work, the promise of freedom and security feels under threat. When young people lose faith in public institutions because of corruption, poor governance, unfulfilled promises, democracy itself is weakened. When access to quality education, digital connectivity, housing, healthcare, economic opportunities remains unequal, many young people understandably ask whether the constitutional promise is being realized. And I think those concerns are very, very real. They must be acknowledged honestly. Youth unemployment remains one of the greatest challenges facing our country. Millions of young South Africans are seeking opportunities to contribute to society, support their families, and build meaningful lives. At the same time, many face barriers arising from poverty, inequality, inadequate infrastructure, uneven access to quality education and skills development. Crime and violence continue to affect communities across our country. Gender-based violence and femicide remain amongst the gravest threats to human dignity and equality. Many young people are also dealing with growing pressures relating to mental health, to social isolation, substance abuse, and uncertainty about the future of them and their country. And I think those challenges should concern all of us, yet they should not lead us to abandon democracy or lose our faith in the Constitution. Rather, they should inspire us to make democracy work better and to work better for everyone. The Constitution was never intended to guarantee that problems would disappear overnight. It was intended to provide a framework through which South Africans could work together to address these problems peacefully, democratically, and collectively. Constitution gives young people very, very powerful tools. tools that we from previous generations didn't have. Our tools were the rock, the stone, the petrol bomb, the AK. Those were the tools that we had to use. You have tools in this constitution which protect the right to education, protect the right of freedom of expression, protect your right to organize, to protest peacefully, and to advocate for change, protects your right to vote, protects your right to hold those in positions of power accountable. And most importantly, it recognizes you not merely as beneficiaries of democracy, but as active participants in shaping it. That is why active citizenship matters, because democracy is not something that happens to us every 5 years. Democracy is something that we do, participating in community meetings, serving in student leadership structures, volunteering in our communities, engaging constructively on social media, challenging misinformation and disinformation, standing against racism, sexism, xenophobia, homophobia, corruption and intolerance, wherever they appear. And yes, it is also voting. Later this year, South Africans will participate in local government elections. These elections matter because local government is the sphere of government that is closest to people's daily lives. That's where the Constitution either materializes or doesn't materialize most directly in people's lives. Because municipalities are responsible for many of the services that affect communities directly: water, sanitation, roads, refuse removal, local economic development and community facilities. The quality of whether we have street lights is also an issue which has a very direct impact on gender-based violence and femicide. The environment in which we grow up, live our lives and do business. Yet, and very, very worryingly, recent research indicates declining levels in trust in democratic institutions, increasing political disengagement, especially amongst young citizens. I don't want to dwell at length about those, but there are some very, very worrying pieces of research out there, done by the Human Sciences Research Council for the IEC, organizations like Afrobarometer, even Ipsos. Many of those pieces of research are indicating that there's a very serious lack of trust in our public institutions, anywhere from parliament and also increasingly worrying our courts. There's a much greater openness of many citizens to consider more authoritarian forms of government. One of the latest surveys said that there were 30% of people who were open to the idea of military government, of stronger leaders, even leaders who would be willing to defy the orders of our courts. I think those are things that we need intergenerationally to look at very, very seriously. Not just in what we do about that, but understanding what the root causes are. Many young people are asking difficult questions. Does my vote matter? Will things change? Are leaders listening? And I think those questions deserve answers. But withdrawing from democracy is not the solution. If young people disengage, others will make decisions on their behalf. There's an old saying which I've heard many times, and I've also repeated it many times. The fact that you are not interested in politics doesn't mean that politics isn't interested in you. So it's better to take an interest and to do something about it. Because if young people don't participate, their voices will not be heard. The answer to an imperfect democracy is not less democracy. It's more participation, more accountability, and more active citizenship. And really, we therefore urge every eligible young person to register to vote. This coming weekend, the 20th, the 21st of June, the IEC will be opening all voting stations across the country. It's over 23,000 voting stations where we as citizens can go and check whether we are registered, whether we're registered in the right ward, in the right voting district. But for those of you who are more tech savvy than some of us, you can do that online as well. Website of the IEC, you can SMS numbers to the IEC and they'll tell you where you're registered. And we really urge everyone to do that. We're not saying here whether you should vote. Personally, I think it's a good thing. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I know where I'll vote, but your vote is your voice, your vote is your power, and your vote is also your secret. We're very, very encouraged by initiatives such as We the People's Guardians of Democracy program, which empowers young people to educate others about the Constitution and democratic participation. Because building constitutional literacy is not an academic exercise. It's absolutely essential to building active, informed, and engaged citizens. Because a democracy can't thrive if citizens don't understand their rights and, importantly, also their responsibilities. Now, today's dialogue brings together a number of generations of South Africans who fought for freedom and those who have been born in freedom. The generation of 76 carries the lessons of struggle, sacrifice, resilience. The generation of 2026 brings fresh perspectives, innovation, energy, skills, and new ideas about how to build a more just society. So our task today is not to compare generations. The task is to learn from one another. Struggle of 76 was for freedom. The challenge of 2026 is to deepen that freedom and to ensure that it's reflected in people's daily lives. We commemorate Youth Month under the theme 50 Years of Youth Courage, Freedom and the Right to Vote. Let's recommit ourselves to building a South Africa in which every young person can realize their full potential. A South Africa in which no young person is denied opportunity because of poverty. A South Africa in which women and girls can live free from fear. A South Africa in which public institutions earn the trust of people. A South Africa in which every young person knows that their voice matters. Because the Constitution is ultimately a promise of dignity, a promise of equality, a promise of freedom, and a promise of opportunity. Whether that promise is fulfilled depends not only on government, but on all of us. The youth of 76 showed us that courage can change history. The youth of 2026 must show us that participation can shape the future. Let us reflect, let us renew, and let us recommit. Much of what I have said has been said much better by a veteran of our struggle, Mac Maharaj. How many of you know who Mac Maharaj is? Mac Maharaj was an activist. He ultimately left South Africa, spent many years in exile. He worked in the ANC underground. He was a member of Mkhonto Wesizwe. And he returned back into South Africa in the late 1980s as part of what was known as Operation Vula. It was an underground operation to re-establish organizational structures within the country. After 1994, he served in government. I think he was the first Minister of Transport, and he's gone on to serve in many other capacities. But he's a very, very special person who, up to this day, at the age of 91, remains absolutely committed to the cause of justice and advancing our country. He delivered a lecture at an intergenerational dialogue hosted by the ANC Veterans League to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the June 16 uprising. I would like to conclude with his words. Mac Maharaj says, "The problems we face are not because the Constitution has failed us. Rather, we have failed our Constitution. We have allowed reconstruction, reconciliation, and nation building to be the domain of those we elect, whereas it gives us the space to move our country forward on the basis of participatory democracy. Our democracy was never intended to reduce citizens to spectators. It was never intended that people should vote every 5 years and then retreat from public life. The vision that animated our struggle was one of active citizenship. The people were not expected merely to elect leaders. They were expected to remain participants in shaping society. Democracy is strongest when citizens organize themselves, and weakest when they surrender responsibility to others. Our march to freedom has taught us that it is the people who make history, and that leaders are servants of the people. Our history leaves no doubt that young people can rise to that challenge. The youth of 1912 inherited a divided people. The youth of 1944 inherited a frustrated people. The youth of 1976 inherited a silenced people. The youth of 1994 inherited a democratic South Africa. The youth of today inherit a nation that remains unfinished. Their task is not to repeat the past. Their task is to learn from it. Their task is to imagine a future equal to the sacrifices of those who came before them. The future will not be built by one generation acting alone. It will be built through dialogue. Leadership emerges through conversation, sometimes cooperative, sometimes argumentative, between generations. It will be built through participation. It will be built through shared responsibility. It will be built by citizens who understand that people make history and that leaders are servants of the people. That is the enduring lesson of our struggle, and that is the challenge before us today. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Minister. I like to check if young people were listening as the previous speakers were talking. You know, one of the freedoms that we gained through this democratic dispensation is the right to freedom of expression. So there is, the artists will be expressing themselves here at the Hill on the 27th of June, they are having the Basha Uhuru Festival. So Cornhill was so kind to give us free tickets. So if you are answering a few questions right, you'll get double tickets to the festival. So it's a very nice festival. I know you like my piano. They've written here the Squatter Camp, DJ Tira, Busi. It will be nice to see you know them. Others I don't know them. So I just want to check with you. There'll be, if you can just raise your hand, there's a lady here who will take your details. We just want to find out, when DM was speaking, he spoke about the first Minister of Transport. And don't Google, I can see already people are preparing their phones and checking if there's network. The first Minister of Transport, he just gave us a beautiful quote from him now. I just need the name in the democratic dispensation. There's a hand from the lady in the dreadlocks. You can stand up, ma'am. Your name? Nana? Yes. Max? He say Max, dear. And Matt. He's not sure. He's just sure about Maharaj, but the Max and the Matt. Okay, Amanda will take your details. We're going to give you, you'll download them. There's the first one. And how many, Shine, how many people were involved in the drafting of the Constitution? It was mentioned many times. And I think we have posters that we have shared. Hey, the phones are waking, I'm telling you. You are not an official, right? Okay, you are a young person from. Okay, ma'am. No, it's not 456. You just Googled. Okay. It's fine. There's a. How many? In the draft? 490. That's correct. Yes. You also not sure, but that's correct. Here's another one. In 1994, remember, tomorrow we are encouraged to go and register or change addresses, those who have voted before, because it's local government elections. You might not have resided in a particular ward. You have moved to the burbs now, coming from a rural area, now you're living in Midrand. You need to make sure that your voice is heard in that particular ward. So in 1994, and I know you may not be exact, but I just need whoever will be close to the correct answer, I'll give them that. How many people voted in the national government elections in 1994? Lawyers should know that. Yes. I don't need the exact. IEC likes to run an advert with a long snake queues to say we woke up early and we slept on the queues. Approximately so many people voted on the day. Is that a difficult one? No. It's not. Okay. There is a hand. The gentleman in the cap.
How many people?
Yes. How many people? Okay.
1.3 million.
No, that's a very low number. There's a hand, gentleman. Yes, sir. 19 million. Yeah, that's close. It's 19.7. That's the correct one. So it can be that in 1994 we had that high voter registration and it keeps getting lower and lower and lower. Yet we are saying that we have so many problems, yet we are not raising our voices through the ballot. So I think it's very important that we take a stance, we go and to the IC, they are also here. Just take your ID, they check you, they can even amend quickly to say you are no longer residing here, but you are rather residing at a different physical address. So that can be done. So we are going to take the names of the people, and we will give them their tickets. We are getting to the serious stuff now. I'm going to call our next facilitator for this session. His name is Mr. Stanley Manimecha is an admitted attorney of the High Court of South Africa, a children's rights expert, and an established author. He works with us at the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. He holds 3 law qualifications, an LLB from University of Joburg and of Johannesburg, an LLM degree from University of Pretoria, and the postgraduate diploma from Wits University. He's currently working under the unit Human Rights and Constitutional Institution Support. Abu Sedi, if you can come to the fore, and as you come, I think you will also announce your panelists, and please, I still have more tickets. Ne? You must listen to the panelists. You're gonna have fun next week, but I also want to, pay attention. It's not gonna be easy questions, but all of them they'll be coming from the panelists here. Over to you, sir.
No, thank you very much. Afternoon, everyone. I think I'm given a difficult task. Looking at the time, I think I'm standing between you and lunch. I'm not sure, but the faces signal that the right to food is being violated. Don't worry, I will do amends. And thank you. You know, one thing that I didn't hear anyone saying. Congratulations, Bafana Bafana. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, they try. No, man, they try. Hey, oh. Congratulations to the boys. We are proud of you and we love you. So, So this will be our last segment. Towards the end. And I'm quickly just going. This is going to be a panel discussion. And I'm going to facilitate this panel. And I'm blessed to have quite a diverse group of panelists. It includes the youth of 1976. It also includes the youth of today. So we're going to have a very nice discussion. And they said the tickets to the dancing thing are still there, right? So listen attentively. So let me, without wasting any further time, call my first panelist to come and join me, Mr. Thabo Ndabeni. A round of applause, please. Then I'm going to call Mr. Tembale Tusi Yisi. Then we are going to be joined by Mr. Senzi Malaza. Then I'm going to call next Meneer Lennox Klas. Then I'm going to call next Miss Moagisi Letlaku. Moagisi Letlaku. Okay. All right. I don't know. Did they say we can pull this mic around? Just now, I don't want to pull it because technology dealt with us earlier. Yeah, I can pull it, ne? Then I can just sit here. Yeah. Is there a roaming mic as well? Okay. So sometimes, because of my height, when I'm sitting down, it looks like I'm lying down. I hope people at the back can see me, right? I'm very down to earth. That's a nice way of saying you are short. So we are going to kickstart our panel discussion. But before we do that, what I would like to do, if you noticed, I only just mentioned the names of the panelists. So just starting from my far left, I just want you to briefly introduce yourself, where you are from, and what you do, so that our audience have an idea with whom they're speaking to, so that as and when they answer the questions about the tickets to the groove, they can get the correct answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. And good afternoon to the Deputy Minister. And thank you for the invitation for us to come and participate. My name is Moagisi Letlaku. I'm the General Manager for Civic and Democracy Education, Research and Knowledge Management at the Electoral Commission of South Africa.
Thank you very much. Round of applause.
Thanks, Deputy Minister and everybody in the room. My name is Thabo Ndabeni, member of the class of 76. I'm professionally a mediator. 76, I was 19. The inspiration was drawn from those who fought the struggle before us. In no way are we, as the class of 76, trying to make duplicates of ourselves in you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, colleagues. A pleasure to be at the Department of Justice this afternoon and a pleasure to be in your presence, Deputy Minister. I'm Tembale Tuseisi. I'm an admitted attorney of the High Court of South Africa. I occupy the position of Head of Law Reform, Advocacy and Institutional Partnerships at the Center for Social Justice at Stellenbosch University.
Thank you. Pass the mic, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, and a special greeting to Deputy Minister. My name is Senzi Malaza. I'm from the National Department of Cooperative Governance, which is part of the Ministry of COGTA. I sit in a unit that deals with development planning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to all. The name is Lennox Mzokolo Munwabisi Mthetho Sipho Class. My organization that I do not necessarily represent here is one of the oldest liberation movements in the continent, and I'm a member of its Veterans League that I'm not going to mention, and I'm the member of the MKLWV. I'm very proud to be the member of these institutions, and I'm very excited to be here. And before I give you the microphone, I want to say to Sis Topsy and Sis Lerato, do not despair, we understand. These things happen. It's not your fault that the sound system decided to misbehave. It was your good intentions to empower young black business guys that were trying to do something positive. I hope this does not signal the termination of your relations with them. Please give them another opportunity to do their business. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Klaas. Thank you very much, and thank you for introducing yourselves. Now, if a question comes up as to who's who and who comes from where and what do they do, I hope that you're gonna get that ticket. I'm just happy that Mr. Klaas is such a. I mean, all of my panelists are friendly, but Mr. Klaas in particular, right? Such a friendly gentleman. I mean, I can imagine if he puts you in the corner and say my full names before I release you. You're not going anywhere. Klaas Simzokolo. Yeah, we'll stop there. So I think for this part, we're going to have a reflective overview of very two important dates. The first one being the 30th celebration of our Constitution, and secondly being the 50 years anniversary of the Soweto uprising. And I want to start with you, Mr. Klaas, and so what I want to try and get from you, Mr. Klaas, is your reflection of, try and paint us a picture of what was 1976 like. And I'm asking this question in particular reference to a song by a famous Nigerian musician, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, The song is titled Beast of No Nation. And in that song, one of the catchy lyrics is that he sends a direct message to P.W. Botha and he says, this uprising will bring out the beast in us. So I want to know, did the uprising bring out the beast in you or the angel in you? One, two, take this one.
Thank you very much, Babu Stanley. I'm not sure about the beast, but if one is going to steal or paraphrase one fellow, he was called Frantz Fanon. This fellow decided to go by way of generational missions. He said, I'm going to paraphrase, each generation basically has a mission to pursue, and it is up to that particular generation to fulfill that mission or betrays it. Now, the generation of 1976 took the baton. I'm sure we were here when the DM was giving us, by way of time frames, various generations and what each generation did. Now, the one of 76 decided to pursue the vision that said or suggested, we are not going to fold our arms when it is so visible. People are trying to do what is called what do you call the colonization that seeks to deprive one's culture, cultural imperialism. They said we are not going to sit back when the people who are going to come with some kind of cultural imperialism that is going to be coming through the imposition of a particular language. We know what that means. Our neighbors next door in Mozambique, if you go there, few of their nationals will articulate or engage in their indigenous languages because of the cultural imperialism. Everything, including their indigenous languages, were taught in Portuguese. That's why if you go there, everything it's about Portuguese. The youth of 1976 decided to say, look, much as we respect all these languages, but we love our language better, you are not going to get us to study or learn isiXhosa in Afrikaans, mathematics in Afrikaans, English in Afrikaans. And I can assure you, they succeeded, and I want to believe they fulfilled their mission. That's why today I want to believe even all these qualifications that they say you have acquired, you did not pay a cent in acquiring them. Thanks to the generation of 1976. I thank you, my chief.
No, thank you so much, Mr. Klaas. Insofar as payment is concerned, I think let's treat that information as confidential. But I am a beneficiary of this democracy that you fought so hard for. And I mean, thank you also, for making reference to Frantz Fanon. We know that his scholarship heavily influenced black consciousness movement, which was driven by one of our heroes, Steve Biko. I still want to keep us in history. Are you enjoying, guys, the 1976 segment? Thank you. When the question comes, all of you must get the tickets. In fact, those tickets, I think everyone must get. I'm starting to count. I am joking. So let me come to you, Mr. Ndabeni, as a mediator. How was it playing the mediation role when tensions were high, when people were angry, correctly so, when people were trying to protect their culture against cultural imperialism, when people were trying to fight for their equal share in this piece of cake called South Africa? How was it for you to mediate that anger? How did you bring everyone to say, this is how we must fight, or this is how we must drive our cause? Thank you.
Thank you, facilitator. The position we found ourselves was a position which we were not prepared for. In the morning of 76, on Wednesday, it was very cold. Our parents left us as school-going children. They left our pocket money, our scarftins. At the time, PATCO was taking us to schools. There was a bus coupon which was 2 cents per trip. We went to school by the different ways that we go to school with. When they came back, they found that their children were not more children. We were now adults, because now we were talking about exchange with the police, about bullets, exchange, running away from tear gas, now talking about our fellow students having died. That's a different person to the person in this morning says, in the evening, the discussion was, by the way, so the relationship has just changed. For us as representatives of the various schools, that evening the discussion was what has happened to some of the school children who were detained. What's going to happen to those that have died? Where do they stay? Where are we going to get support to make sure that whoever has died, whoever has been detained is supported? So it was a completely different terrain. We were unprepared for that. Remember, in the morning of the 16th, the plan was to march peacefully. The plan was not to sacrifice Hector Peterson, nor any of the other children who died on the day. But in the evening, we're planning funerals already. So the responsibility in the first instance was we need to come together as a collective, as the organizers of the march that day. Secondly, to look for resources. I wasn't joking when I was saying today we don't want to make you a replica of ourselves. We stood on the shoulders of giants who fought the struggle before us. And those giants were our resource for that for moving forward that time. Me Salim Otlana, me Winnie Mandela, Harrison, at the time he was still Harrison, until the day after when he changed his name. Dr. Motlana. Dr. Manas Buthelezi. These are known community leaders whom we went to try and get advice and support as to what to do next. It is out of those adults that we got support. The Black Parents Association is a result of our engagement with them. So your question is, how did we mediated it by finding solutions from existing resources, but then taking the leadership going forward.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Miss Malaza, before I come to you, I just want to, what is that? Oh, I'm going to jump into a time travel machine. So from 1976, we are living now. You are all in the time travel machine with me now. Don't be scared. I'll drive properly. I want to go to Mr. Thembaletu. I mean, we heard from the two gentlemen about how 1976 was. And as they are speaking, they remind me of a song by the late WHP Harame, where he says that because of you, I don't have to speak Afrikaans today. Because of you, I don't even know what a tear gas smells like. I don't know what a rubber bullet feels like. And I think these are the sacrifices that were made by these two gentlemen, that you sitting there don't know what a tear gas smells like or what a rubber bullet feels like. So can you tell me, how is it for you to just be born into this beautiful democracy? Yes, it might have its challenges, but how is it for you? How are you experiencing this democracy that these two gentlemen were dreaming about?
Thank you, Program Director. I want to start my contribution by saying to the youth of 1976, we are sorry. We are sorry that you had to endure that brutality for our freedom. As I walked through the exhibition in the prisons this morning, I felt a deep sense of gratitude, but also a deep sense of debt that we owe the youth of 1976 as the youth of 2026. Program Director, you ask, how does it feel to be a born free? It feels amazing. But at the very same time, it feels heavy. Because 30 years later into our constitution, we've got the elders sitting with us here today saying things did not go the way we wanted them to go. It feels heavy to be in this room because I think we don't have enough of those intergenerational dialogues to ask the elders what it is that they wanted and what it is that we can do to finish the unfinished business. It is wonderful to be born in a country where you don't smell tear gas. You don't feel a rubber bullet because of your beliefs. And the Constitution rightfully protects the right to belief, to psychological belief. But at the very same time, we are in this very room and have not achieved what we could have. So yes, it is amazing to be a born free, but we've got a debt to pay.
No, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone has a tissue in their pocket and it's getting a bit, yeah. But I think when conversations get emotional, then you must know that they are touching that particular organ in your body that they're supposed to touch, and which is the heart. And once the heart is touched, that message is then transmitted into the brain to say then, how do we go about this? How do we think about the solutions that we can try and bring? Now, Ms. Malaza, you are from Kokta. And that is a government department whose main objectives include monitoring local municipalities to ensure that they fulfill their constitutional mandate. And local municipalities are at the forefront of service delivery. I think South Africa is one open and democratic society that we have different bodies that try to bring about accountability and transparency, one being the Auditor General. Now, I would read in the Auditor General's reports that out of so many municipalities, only a handful have a clean audit. And meanwhile, the gaps of inequality are widening. So can you just take us through, as COCTA, when you sit in your office and read those reports, when you drive on the roads and see the condition that local municipalities are in, what is your view of democracy? What is it that you think that a municipality must do to say that when we pass and say, that is a democratic municipality, that one? Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Program Director. And I must say, it is really an honor to be sitting here. As we're briefing, in the briefing room, I was like, but is this the right platform to be speaking in, especially if you're sitting amongst, the youth of 1976, and really to echo the sentiment of my fellow panelists to say really we owe them a great deal of gratitude, in terms of what they did then, and it's our responsibility to actually, continue in that spirit. So without really wasting much time and coming back to the question, as you have rightly indicated, the Department of Cooperative Governance is responsible for, oversight and management in terms of municipalities, which is our local government sphere. We are responsible for setting the legislation, regulations, in making sure that, municipalities function the way that they are meant to function. And for me, one of those key, functions, as you've indicated, in terms of service delivery and making sure, that they deliver services to communities. But for me, as I sit in my office, as I've indicated, I deal with issues around planning, development planning. And if you go back to the Constitution, one of the rights, that we have, is the right to participate and be part of the management, and how municipalities are running. And one of those key processes that are actually there for communities and the youth, because as the youth you are part of the communities, is to actually participate in the affairs of your municipalities. We all reside in different municipal spaces. And the constitution, the legislation that is here in the country actually provide for everyone to participate, in the affairs of municipalities. And one of those processes is actually to participate in the development of the IDP, which is the Integrated Development Plan of the municipality. Each municipality is meant to develop an IDP, and that IDP is meant to be the plan or the key plan that actually speaks to the development in that municipality. And one of those key, as I said, functions of municipalities is to create those platforms for communities to actually participate in the IDP. So as we see the challenges that municipalities encountering, as we see the service delivery issues happening, is then upon us to say, are we participating in the affairs of those municipalities? Are we making our needs known by the municipalities? Are we making our voice heard by, the municipalities in terms of the administration, but also the political, in those municipalities? So the IDP process is one of those processes. There are other processes where, communities and the youth are expected to participate, the budget processes, in the development of bylaws in municipalities, the development of, contracts and all of that. those opportunities and those platforms are there for us as communities, as the youth, to participate. So my question to the youth of 2026 is to say, are you participating in the processes that have been provided by our constitution, that has been provided by our legislation, so that your voice is being heard, your needs are heard, you know, in terms of the challenges that you are experiencing as a member of the community, as the youth in that particular space. Thank you so much. I'll stop there.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was a mouthful. And you guys heard what Kokta does, right? Okay. No dancing on the is it the 27th, Topsy? 22 or 27th, ne? If you didn't hear what Kokta does, no dancing. But let's move right along, and Miss Letlaku from the IEC, right? You know, nowadays, when one has conversations, you know, in as much as my brother here said, when he opened by saying that we would first like to apologize to the youth of 1976, there is this misconception amongst youth that, vote for what? Nothing will change. So can you just take us through what is the importance of voting? In fact, why is that right even there? And just to top it up, why is it even reserved for citizens? What is the importance of that right? What role does it play in our constitutional and democratic dispensation? And why must the youth sitting here register and vote?
Thank you so much. Everyone in the panel has said quite a lot. And I as one of the people who sort of set the agenda for civic education and engagement, ours is really about hearing what people are saying. And the Deputy Minister already mentioned that as the IEC, we do conduct research. So all of our programs are very much research-based, and not just our civic education programs, but literally how we run voting stations is based on research. And we do this research ahead of every election. And as the Deputy Minister said, over the past 20 years that we've been doing and tracking elections to gauge public sentiment, perception, and even intention to vote, we've seen a decline. And we've hit a record decline ahead of this election, as was stated in our voter participation survey 25-26. We have the lowest intention or support for democracy, rather, in this upcoming election. And that is very much based on the lack of trust. So there is a great disillusionment from voters, and especially young people, because they say they have not seen the rewards of their democracy and their participation. So the lived everyday experience, the bread and butter issues. And so we're going into an election in a very challenging environment where we have the mandate to educate and inform the public, because you can't force anybody, but you want to educate, inform, and encourage, and we will always do that as the commission. But people are saying, what is the point, as we've said, because they no longer see the connection between their lived experience and their action of voting. 70% of 18 and 19-year-olds, which would be your first-time voters, are not registered. 70%. We live in a country where the majority, about, is it a third of the, if not more, of our country and citizens are young people. But what are we doing with these numbers, young people? What are you doing with these numbers? 70% of 18 and 19-year-olds are not registered and therefore may not or have not experienced voting. And from our research, we're seeing that there's a sort of a growing number of people on this side of the fence who haven't experienced voting, who are hearing from other people if it matters, whether it matters. And our research does tell us that the most influential people are family members. So the hearsay is very important. And it's very important for young people to also see themselves as role players in the democracy. You know, there's a young man called Musa Sono who features in our latest docu-reality TV on SABC1. I hope some of you have watched it, called Beats for My Peeps. Has anyone seen it here? SABC1, 6 p.m. every Wednesday. Please do check it out. And it's one of the ways in which we're trying to re-engage young people using music. We've got social media content creators who are speaking on these conversations. And Musa was saying, and watch the episode next week, he was saying, the thing about always saying that young people are the future, as it says on that pull-up banner there, is that then we wait, young people wait for this future. They don't see that they must do something today, right? So we are waiting to be adults because we're young people. Like now it's sitting, I'm young. Until when? You're young until 35, but you are adulting. You're a young adult. And you need to see yourself as an adult and a contributor in our democracy, even though things are challenging, because the economy and corruption and crime and maybe the lack of services that we are told by participants of our research, that these are the things that are discouraging them. But I, for one, as I always say, I've never seen anything change when nobody has done anything. I've never seen it. You must show me something that just changed and morphed. And if it does, we know it happens over time. We've seen how water can change an entire environment, but it takes hundreds of years. Do you want to wait hundreds of years for that? Or do you want something to happen that is good, that you have contributed to in your own lifetime? And I saw when we asked earlier, somebody asked how many of us are registered in this room. I saw where this 70% is coming from, because some of them are sitting here. And we are headed for a local government election. If you are disillusioned by bread and butter issues, this election is your election then. This is the election that impacts whether sewage is dealt with in your community, are the lights on, you know, do you have parks that are safe for you, you know, to have recreational activities at within your community. So it's the election that is closest to your lived experience. So I'm saying to young people, if you are disillusioned about your lived experience, show up, register to vote. We've got colleagues outside here who can help you to register to vote, and show up on voting day and contribute your voice to saying these are the things that are a priority to me and my community. And this is the direction that I, as a citizen, would like for my municipality and obviously my country to go. So I'm really urging young people to not sit on the power that you have, to not sit on the numbers that you have, but also the potential you have to influence the direction of your lived experience.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The message is loud and clear. Register to vote. Deputy Minister, I think the stats have been provided. So we have 70% of youth who think that politics don't care about them. Well, you are in for a surprise. Eh? Politics loves you. Ne? It loves you very much. You will see. So I want to kick to our second round of discussions. And we are still in that time machine. Ne? Yeah. Going back to 1976, Mr. Ndabeni, if I can start with you. As a 19-year-old in 1976, if someone came to you and told you that one day South Africa will be a free and equal society where your skin color, your gender, race, all the labels of discrimination will not be used against you, what would be your answer as a 19-year-old standing there, smelling that tear gas, dodging that rubber bullet, and someone taps you on your shoulder and says, one day you will be free? What would be your reaction?
That question
Yes.
is what drove us. That
Can I
question-
get a round of applause for that, please? Thank you.
the hope that the possibility of a different world coming to life made us to do what we did. The absence of fear in the presence of bullets, tear gas, and everything else made us, as Hector Peterson was falling, remember there's a young child on the 16th of June who died. She was on her mother's back and a stray bullet hit her. Her name is Lily Miti. She was on her mother's back on that day as the police were shooting at anything that moved. She was killed. She's a victim. You'll see, if you go through the list of children who died on that day, you'll see there's a name called Lilimat. Miti, rather. There's also another girl, a lady, she was a student then. Her name is Poppy Butelezi. Poppy Butelezi was shot on her back, and the bullet got wedged on her spine. She was paralyzed from the waist down. She, for the rest of her life, was moved. She used a wheelchair. She survived 30 more years post 76. But she died of the wounds she suffered on June 16. Now, he's saying sorry to us. The sorry is accepted. For the audience, I spent 2 months here in the single cells out in this very prison, in the single cells, and I spent 10 months on trial. I was accused number 7 amongst the 11 students that were charged for leading the uprising in 1976. So when they said that let's take a tour of this place, I didn't feel like it. It didn't feel good for me. Some 5 or 6 years ago, me and another friend and comrade, Nkosnati Twala, we came to come and go to the cells where we were kept here. Here in number 4 and at John Foster Square, the experience wasn't good. What I'm saying is that for those who don't want to protect what we have won, are making a disservice to the sacrifices of those that died. For me, I'm alive. I'm 69 now. I'm saying I'm able to do what I can do with my life now. But for those who died, for the families who lost their children who their families think that they went into exile when their children were killed and buried in graves which have never been identified. So for those who made those sacrifices that time, it is important for them, for the generation of today, to defend that which was won in 1994. And you defend that by voting. It is important to also appreciate that for those who've done physics, the force that, when you push something that way, you must push, firstly you push the amount of force equal to the force that is opposing, then you exert the additional force for it to move that way. But it doesn't mean the opposing force stops pushing back. So there is a great potential if we let our guards down that the opposing force can push back. And we find ourselves not necessarily in the same situations where we were our times, but the power relations are of such a nature that it's not different from the times today. What do you call this? Economic discrimination takes place. Yeah, there are places which you can't go to because you can't afford to go there. Because our biggest problem today is economic independence, or rather economic freedom. I'm sorry I've taken too.
No. You can wrap up.
In wrapping up, I'm saying it is the possibility of being free that drove us to make the sacrifices that we made. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, look, you know, I wish we had more time, and also I think it becomes a bit awkward when someone who fought for my freedom says I apologize. So, but it's okay. I want to come to you, Mr. Klaas. You know, when I used to lecture jurisprudence at the #1 university just down the road, some of the topics that we covered in that module was constitutional settlement. And the scholars around that topic, you know, they argue that because South Africa, or because the black people did not go to war against the Boers, and that our constitution was a negotiated document, it does not really reflect what the people wanted. So now I want to get a reflection from you as the youth of 1976, and I think when you started engaging in politics and fighting for the liberation of this country, you were 15 years old. So I want to get a reflection from you. What is your view in relation to those scholars? Is it something even worth engaging in? Yeah.
Am I allowed to say Amandla?
Wait.
Okay. No, naturally. I mean, we are here to engage. The process of engagement is that gives you the leverage to learn. But I beg to differ with such assertions, because history tells us the organization that I joined formed an armed wing. It's called Umkhonto Wesizwe, or it was called Umkhonto Wesizwe. That formation was regarded as the continuation of politics by other means. It means they were going to engage those who were on the other side of the trenches using guns, using explosives, demolishing things. So that is war. But is the kind of, you have several wars. You will have one that would be declared as a just war, a war to end an unjust war. So there was war. If you want, I can give you a catalogue that would point you in that direction to say there was war. But ours was not a conventional war where you put your forces that side and we put our forces that side. It was called a guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare is the kind of an exercise that you hit and retreat. And it is characterized by phases. You'll have a phase that avoided what we called at the time soft targets, that avoided human life. It would be directed to installations that represented apartheid. So that was the kind of war. It was there. but I do not condemn them for thinking there was no war. Maybe they were in environment that shielded them from this kind of war. Go to other areas, go to our high density areas. You will know there was war. People were dying every day. Now, my colleague or comrade spoke or gave us a list of the people that never went back home in 1976. I feel I'm compelled to mention one name. I'm from an area that is known for its political credentials. I don't know whether you boast about that. It's called Port Elizabeth, now Gqeberha. There was a lady there, young lady, her name was Nomvume Mnyati. I know very few people know of that lady here because for 50 years, she was never spoken about. That's why their parents felt their name was hidden. The mother died 4 years later after she was killed in 1976 by the enemy warhead. She died trying to find or look for closure. She was a student or a learner from Cowan High School. On this faithful day, with her books and the pen, she was not even running because she was not necessarily involved in the skirmishes, but on what she knew, I don't want Africans. Our late minister, Kada Ismail, may his soul rest in peace, when he led one department, he coined a very powerful slogan that water is life. Now, this young girl, her life was ended at the tap, at the water, at the tap, those communal taps. The irony is, water is supposed to provide life, but hers was ended there. And the people of Gqeberha today are saying they are going to write songs about her, sing about her, and make South Africans, like the way they did with Hector, known that there is this lady whose life was cut short. Her name is Nomvume Mnyati. Please, when you leave this place, if there's something that you must come out with, please remember the name, because for 50 years, that name was never said. During my previous life, when I was in exile, I had an opportunity to work with Radio Freedom. I know microphone is sweet. When you give me microphone, yeah.
I see you enjoying that.
The reason I'm saying this, the president that led us, warned us that what was achieved in the transition of 1994 was very, very easy compared to the bigger task facing our country. 1994, it was very easy. Because the task we are to be confronted with after 1994, it was the struggle against our own weaknesses. The struggle to tell you, even if you are my friend, it is a sellout position that you are doing. You cannot invade and steal the public purse, even if you are my brother, even if you are my friend. You cannot steal the money that is meant to improve the lives of the people that fought for this country. It is that kind of struggle. And it is never easy to tell those you love what you are doing is wrong. Thanks to Madlanga Commission. Madlanga Commission tells us it is good to tell your friend there's a cell waiting for you for what you have done. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Klaas. You know what? I think I need to get you back to radio. I think you still enjoy holding the mic, but I don't know. You see, the mics of nowadays are not like those ones. These ones of nowadays, you even clip them here, so I don't know how you're gonna hold it or whether you're gonna enjoy it. But I don't want to. You know, it's nice facilitating because you can monopolize the information that you have been given. But because I'm not selfish, I'm not gonna do that. I quickly want to open up the floor for any questions to our panelists. And what I want to sincerely request is that let's make it a question and not a comment. And your question must be like my height, very short. Thank you. There's a roaming mic. DM is... Oh.
No, program director, it's not a question, it's an apology. Because I don't want questions to start and then people say, no, hey, the question's too hot. No, I find myself in a very difficult position. I want to apologize to this gathering because I hate this tendency of coming, speaking, and running. I don't like doing that. But unfortunately, many of you are aware that at the moment we're sitting with some quite serious challenges on issues of immigration. And you'll know that the Minister of Justice is the chair of the Interministerial Committee. So we have an engagement at 3 o'clock with a grouping that represents some of the migrants. And it's going to be I was part of putting that meeting together, so it's going to be difficult for me not to be part of that. So I'll have to leave just before 2:30. So please, it's not the heat of the questions that's making me leave. But apologies, as I said, I don't like doing that, but it's unfortunately a bit out of my control.
You are excuse DM. So yeah, opening up the floor, and in DM, when you're saying that you have to leave because of the issues that you are dealing with, I think we really want to thank you for being with us, and we appreciate that you could, find time in your schedule to come and join this. I mean, unlike me, when I did my first case, I didn't know that after you're done, you're supposed to ask the magistrate to be excused. I won my first case, and I walked, and as I was at the door, she said, "Mr. Malimacha, you're excused." I said, "But I think I'm done. My client's got bail." Then they said, "No, that's not how it works." So, guys, you always have to ask to be excused. So, yeah, the floor is open. Let's get those questions. Questions, not comments. Comments, we can have them when we're walking out. Thank you.
Greetings to all. My name is Sinenhlanhla Buthelezi, and I am an activist, and I'm proud of that. Straight to the point. In a generation of media, I think this is actually directed to everyone at the panel. In a generation of media, how can the youth organize and successfully foster a culture of a youth that is active and influential? Not just that, but also intentional with our constitution. Thus being said, we saw last year the GPV march that was held, and it showed us that this is possible, but how can we redirect it to politics and the beauty of our constitution? Thank you.
Thank you very much, our activist. So I think maybe if we take a maximum, it's 5, okay, it's 5 of you here. So you divide, maths, pie chart and all those things. Let's take a maximum of 5, right? Yeah, we have to be very democratic. The mic must also go that side. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Nana, and I am from Black Lawyers Association Student Chapter, UNISA, Florida. And just to add on to her question, Mr. Ndabeni said he doesn't want today's youth to be replicas of the 1976 youth. So, to Mr. Klaus and Mr. Ngobeni, looking at today's changes, seeing the youth of today, what advice would you give us, or rather, what is the one thing the youth of 1976 did you'd advise us not to do as the youth of today? Thank you.
Thank you, Nana. There was a hand there that, yeah. Oh, yeah, you want to finish? Okay, we're taking 3 from this side, then we take 2 from this side. Then when we come back, 6. Yo. Okay, take them, my sister, but we have to be very democratic about this process.
Greetings. My name is Julia from UNISA, from the Black Law Student Association, Johannesburg campus. So my first question is, I'm not sure about the surname, but the same side.
Who, the lady or the gentleman?
The gentleman.
Mr. Ndabeni.
Yes. So my first question is, as you were part of the June 16 march, right? Did you ever get a chance in your life, maybe to ask, not to offend, right? To ask maybe a white person, how do they feel when they are here in the Constitutional Hill, right? In that there was apartheid against Batu, Babatu, and then, like, what do they feel, Habalibu, right? What is the view? And then the second question.
You know what? Allow me to dictate. One question, 1%. One constitution. Did you hear what the minister, what the deputy minister was saying? So let's keep to that pace. Let's go to the side. One nation, one constitution, one man, one vote. Ahe.
From Pretoria. My question was, I wanted to ask from that class, as you are the youth of that class, on that class, so what can you advise the young students of today? They should reap and they should not forget where they come from. Which means you must know where you come from. So the youth of today, they seems like to relax. They don't even learn about the history, what happened. So what my Bible says, what can you tell? What is important to rip up what you need to know where you come from?
Thank you, Ndat. Yeah, let's move right along. My beautiful and handsome panelists, I hope you are noting down the questions. Ne?
Minister, can I just, Minister?
Hey.
Can I request that you hear this question? Thank you. Just a second.
Minister, I just want to ask one question and you register it. Sabotaging me. Okay. Minister.
He said.
Yes, Deputy Minister, please register this. The youth of 1956, part of the thing that we're fighting for was that they want quality education for everyone, right? So seated here, it's law students, most of them. Why is it that we have to finish LLB and then go for 6 months of law school, which needs external financial funding from our pockets? We don't have that kind of money. Why is it that this 6 months law school is put into the LLB curriculum so that it can be funded by NSFAS and all bursaries that are there? The second question.
Our dictatorship, my leader. No. Remember, look at the hands behind you. Look at the hands behind. Can we not? stop the train before it gets where it wants to. Yeah, you can phone the department and ask that question. Can we have the mics roaming there? Can we have the mics roaming? Dear students, one question, please.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
My name is Itumeleng Sedia. I'm a fourth year LLB student from UJ Blask. My question is that doesn't the youth of pre-democratic state feel like they have spoiled the youth of post-democracy?
Yeah. Can we wait? Hey, you know what? There are a lot of passengers who are getting into the train without a ticket now. Okay, can I have as the last passenger? Then they respond. Wabon. Then we get the second round because I need to get my money as well. Wait. The train is still in motion. They respond to the questions. Then we have the last round of hands. Then they respond. Then we close. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Lerato Mukulani, and I am the secretary of Blask Unisa Ekuruleni. I am a law student, and I'm doing my final year. And my question is, the youth of 1966 fought for our freedom, but I believe that we as this youth are still enslaved. Am I audible? Okay, I sound weird in the mic, but we are still enslaved ourselves as the youth of today, and maybe not to political tyrants this time, but to moral degradation. And as Mr. Ndabeni has said, we are enslaved to economic discrimination. So I think I wanted to ask if isn't this the time for us maybe to have an honest conversation about the actual impact of the youth of 1976. Yes, that generation fought against apartheid system, and we now have democracy and we have rights. But isn't this is this the freedom that you guys fought for? Or did you fight against apartheid and then stopped fighting afterwards because you okay, sorry.
I'm going to dictate. Now you are having a dialogue with us.
Okay, no, okay.
Hey.
Sorry. I'm just a little nervous. But, did you fight against apartheid and then stop fighting afterwards? Because you were comparing not having rights and having rights, and because maybe you do not know what freedom tastes like because the people who came before you were oppressed. So I wanted to ask if
how you didn't ask already? You asked. No, ma'am. Sorry.
I'm almost done.
No, we had the question.
Is it?
We had the question. Trust you me. As a law student, when a judge says I've heard your question, just rest your case, ne? Don't go. Wait. No. Yeah. Can they answer? I want my panelists to also engage with you guys. Yabo? Please don't stone me when I walk outside.
I think I'll just answer the question around mobilizing. I think there is a lot of power that all citizens, especially young people, have when it comes to the media, because media is no longer just controlled by media owners. We're all content creators. And that's why I was saying to you, watch this show, Beats for My Peeps, on Wednesdays, SABC 1, and see how other people and other young people your age have used their platforms to add their voice, to encourage others. We've had young people who were so moved by embracing the information and really getting to understand their role that they registered for the first time on the show itself. And I think that's the power of engagement, is that it allows you the opportunity to change your mind, but you must consume the information and the media and also share it using those media platforms that you are now able to have at your fingertips. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Let's come back perhaps to the legends.
Okay.
Because we've only got one question to answer myself.
Oh, okay. Then you answer, then we save the best for last. Is that what you say?
That's what I'm proposing.
All right.
In terms of getting young people to be active, I think young people want to be active and will be active in spaces where we will deal with issues that affect young people truthfully. Today we sit with 59 billion rands in student debt. 12 billion of that is irrecoverable. 9.5 million young people are not in education, not in employment, not in training. That's 45% of youth. About 186,000 of graduates, their qualifications have been withheld by universities. Young people want to talk about those things. It is only then, when we talk about issues that affect young people the most, that they will come to the party, with or without the media. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I don't think there was any question for Kokta. Or do you want to? You want to try and take one, Inji?
No, I'll just try and make a comment.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
No,
I think,
make.
The first lady who asked the question, you know, for me is to say, you know, we need to recognize the power of organizing, you know. I spoke earlier about, you know, processes that are there in terms of participating in your municipal processes. Yes, you can participate as an individual, but there is also power in terms of organizing or participating as part of an organization or as part of a group. So for me then is to say we really need to recognize that power in terms of how we organize ourselves as the youth, as communities, so that then our voices becomes amplified in terms of whatever issues that we want to raise. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ndabeni, yeah. All the questions that were directed to the legends, take half and leave half for Mr. Class. We are sharing here. We are sharing the struggle.
Well, the one question was directly to me about the experiences here. The experience is very personal. You can't share it with somebody else. And I can't ask somebody else how he or she feels being here. Because it depends. You can feel the chills because you were locked here. You can feel the chills because you sympathize with those that were here. So it depends from what vantage point you talk about that experience. The same thing, we sometimes criticize people that ended up as witnesses in our trial without appreciating the fact that the level of resistance to torture is different from person to person. So for those who were able to successfully withstand the torture and refuse, not end up being witnesses, kudos to them. For those that broke, they broke because they couldn't stand it. So what I'm basically saying is we got into this struggle without any training, like I said, my opening remarks. The next one, can I address Mkulua?
Yes.
The point of...
Mkulua, it's you.
Mkulua, I'm also part of 1976. No, address, leader, address.
Okay, let me say this. Someone asked the question about haven't we spoiled you? My eldest child is 45 years old. My last born is 32. So, and I have grandchildren who are, the oldest is 17. Now, in a sense, yes, we spoiled you. Why? we protected you from the harshness that we experienced. But in doing so, we over-coddled you. And as a result, there are some comrades whose children don't know that their parents were part of the struggle. They only learn as when we visit, we talk about, hey, remember when this happened? The child says, but you never told us that. But sometimes I think it's as a result of trying to close a door that's very painful. But at the same time, our own parents experience the same hardship that we experience, but differently. But we're able to engage them. I'm not sort of saying to you, by being over-coddled, we saved you. You have the benefit of experience. My son was a student here at VET. He said to me, there is something wrong with being a beneficiary of a bursary as opposed to someone whose fees are being paid direct by the parents or whoever is sponsoring them. Says the long queues that go out of VET's yard and so on, all those who are struggling are those that are bursary beneficiaries. Those that are paying cash, they just walk in, they wake up at 10 o'clock, at 11 they're here, in 30 minutes they've registered and out of the gate. Now, why does being a beneficiary of a bursary makes it a dehumanizing experience? So I'm just saying there is something else that we need to look at amongst ourselves, that it is important that the services that we provide without taking the dignity away from the individual. Secondly, I would like to say in just short, it is important that us as individuals, see the problem we made as a nation was that when 94 happened, someone said then freedom ended. It didn't. The struggle for freedom is continuous. It's continuous. We fought our part. You have to fight your part. Your children are going to have to fight for something else. So it is a perpetual effort to improve our circumstances. So the last point is that we need to appreciate the fact that freedom is something that has to start with you as an individual. Don't look outside for help. Recognize the potential to help yourself first before you think of going outside. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Ndabeni. Thank you very much. Mr. Klaas, just before I bring you in, I'm going to ask that you keep it very brief. I've just received communication from my co-pilot that we need to land this flight. But don't worry, my passengers here, they are very approachable. As in when they go to the luggage, you grab them and you have a conversation with them. I don't think they'll have a problem. But I know the flight is very nice. There are no turbulence and we are flying smoothly. But we are landing now. Can you take us to the landing strip, Mr. Klaas?
No, program director, I agree with everyone.
Agree, yes. Keep your phones switched off. We are now on taxi mode, and thank you for being on board Stanley Airlines. Pew. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, no, now you have to do voting.
Thank you. Panelists, please remain seated. Can I just request my colleagues to give you the tokens of appreciation? We don't have much. Let me also, in absentia, thank the Deputy Minister for making time to be here. We know that these are critical times in terms of the issues of migration, immigration, and issues of security and so forth. And he really had to, because we are important, right? He really had to be here. And also, let me sincerely apologize for the technicalities that we had this morning. I think we would have been on time, but we always make a plan. We did have our dialogue. To the program director, thank you so much. The first one, Ntate Mzobe, for driving, for co-driving it's not a boat here. It's a flight. Yes, it's a flight by Stanley Airlines. Yes. So thank you for co-driving, and thank you to COCTA, to the IEC. Very important. We need to go and register. They are open tomorrow. If you need to change from your address, you're voting from home to the nearest place in terms of your residence, so that you don't have to travel back home to vote, please do that, because now you are I'll say Gauteng citizen in a way. But if you still feel strongly that you need that councillor there at Njarere, you can take your bus and drive back home. Thank you very much, IEC. Thank you, the youth of 1976. I appreciate you so much, and I think we need to have more of this intergenerational dialogue. Some of the questions that were asked, I think there were more comments, and it's we need to say them to ourselves. They fought for the cause that they knew. What are we fighting for? I always say to my daughter that, you know, even these days, even if you can buy a teenager a book, no one wants to read a book. Everyone is on their phones, right? And the things that they follow sometimes is very interesting. You look at the pages that they are following. Real housewives of what, real housewives. Now you ask the person, why are you going to school if you are aspiring to be a housewife? Because these things somehow, remember they say you are what you consume, right? So this media that you are consuming, somehow it shapes you to become or to aspire to be that. Now, there are other pages, but and I'm not saying it's not good, because we also have content creators and other people who must make money, but we must also check at the media that we consume and what they do to us. It's just like food. You eat junk food, there's no way that you're gonna be slim and have biceps and all that. It's the same. Whatever you consume, it shows. So those questions goes to us. What is it that we want for ourselves? What is it that we aspire to see happen in South Africa? There's a much and much as to whether they're doing it right or wrong, but you can see is that force that that Ndabeni was talking about, to say, you know, the push and the whatever. But I think out of that, we always negotiate. We are South Africans, we are vocal, we get things done. Thank you so much to COCTA. Thank you so much to the Bonfreeze. Today's program, you will see it was facilitated by young people. Thank you so much, Letu, all the way from Stellenbosch. And I think when we have, you mentioned very interesting statistics in terms of youth at universities and their struggles. I think it's something that we might have to look at. And there was a question that was raised there. I think it also speaks to the issues of the curriculum, how it's structured, what we pay for outside of that. We normally have the career days in July, where we talk to young people about law as a course and how it's structured. And we know that you go through a lot in terms of trying to serve your articles, in terms of registration to the LPC, in terms of your registrations to the bar, how do you get entry, in terms of your examinations that you have to write to become admitted and become attorneys. There's a lot. So when we create those platforms in those spaces, we also invite relevant people to assist you, to hold your hand. We also invite industry to be with you in terms of saving of those articles, assist you in your population and so forth. So I think it was a very relevant question that he asked. In July, we are having one, I think 31st, we'll give the dates, like we have tried to get a hold of you so that you can also look at what we have. You know, we invite even the highest, what do you call them, legal practitioners, your justices that are sitting in the Constitutional Court. Some of those current in the bench, others who have retired, to also give that kind of motivation, because being a lawyer, you read until and you work until you die. We know that, ne? There's no retired lawyer. We call you and say there's a commission, come. You need to sit here, you need to do whatever. It's one of those nice careers, like being an artist. Artists never retire, they sing until they collapse on the stage. We know that. We don't say, on Abuinaka 1976, no. As long as the vocal cords are still okay, you are still working, they still act, we see all of them. To the students and other organizations that are here, thank you for your patience, and I hope that you are reaping something out of this particular dialogues. We will try to, every time we organize, we try to refine and make them better, right? And I think we'll allow more time for engagement. In the future, we start with the panels, we'll end with those short messages so that everyone can get a chance to raise their concerns and to be heard. So small tokens, the questions that we asked, we still have this posters, 490, don't forget. Last questions for you. These are serious giveaways now. We're giving away the last 5 tickets, ne? The last five tickets. So here they go. What am I gonna ask? I want the simple ones. Chapter 2 of the Constitution. What do you normally refer to as? The chapter 2 of the Constitution. There's an end there. Yes, you. The Bill of Rights. Get the numbers there. The Bill of Rights is chapter 2 of the Constitution. And then another question that we would like to ask, the primary purpose of the Constitution. Why do we have the Constitution of the Republic? This one I'm asking to lawyers. Why you read it every day? This is your Bible. Why are you having the Constitution? There's a hand of the gentleman in a watch there. I think it's a gentleman. Ma'am? Or I just saw a watch.
Thank you. I would like to refer to Section 2 of the Constitution. It says it is the supreme law of the Constitution. Every law which is we follow, it must align with the Constitution. Thank you.
Okay, that one was, I asked, what do we call Section 2 of the Constitution? Chapter 2, sorry. Chapter 2 of the Constitution. She responded to say it's a Bill of Rights. Oh, apology. Yes. Why?
Why do we have the Constitution? I'm saying the answer is in Section 2
of the Constitution.
Yes, which speaks of the supremacy of the Constitution.
Yeah. In layman's language, others are not lawyers here. What does that mean? We went to Stellenbosch. Let me tell you this while we are still thinking of simplifying it. Professor Advocate Tulima Donsela. We came with posters. And then she said, wow, we wrote social justice. What was that poster, the green one? It's cost to fairness. Hey, she said, hey, you people know how to simplify this thing. She mentioned a very long definition. As an economics student, I remembered one definition that used to frustrate me of infrastructure is the basic infrastructure that includes telecommunications and what and portal. So she said to us, if we could communicate like this, will make life so much easier. Now, he's referring us to other section, which we must still read and which must still interpret. So hence I'm giving him a bit of time to say, in layman's language, simply, why are we having the Constitution? And everything that they spoke about, whatever happened here, you can see that somehow contributed to that Constitution. Okay.
Basically what the Section 2 states. I'm sorry, I'm used to law is not my personality, but
yeah,
try to speak like lawyers because we are going there. So basically what Section 2 says, it states that each and every law which we follow in South Africa, or each and every law, say the legislation which is drafted, I would refer to the policy which was drafted and later withdrawn, stating the AR. It should follow the Constitution. And if it doesn't follow the Constitution, it's therefore invalid, so we cannot follow it. Thank you.
Okay. Can we have the lady behind her, you ma'am? Same question, right? You are answering. Yeah. No, I'm parking here for now. No. No, I never said you must give a ticket. Can she? Yeah, we'll get 3 attempts. I think I will get a clearer one. Let's make it quickly so that we close.
Okay, so we have the constitution to promote equality,
Yes,
democracy, and transparency.
thank you so much. Promotion of human rights. You see, I think you are not a lawyer. Are you a lawyer? I think you are not a lawyer. You are a human rights lawyer. You must come and join advocacy. Don't go to court now. Huh? There's a ticket here. I think I'm happy with this response. That is given. You wanted to try, ma'am? There's human rights, there's justice, there's equality. I'm happy with that.
The purpose of the Constitution, redress past injustices, and then to move from a culture of authority to a culture of justification, where we don't just follow laws which were repressive, but the judges have an opportunity to change any past laws which are not in line with the Constitution.
Okay, there's another ticket there. I'm gonna give it to you for trying. Next time you must remember you are talking to us, you are not lawyers. Even I'm not a lawyer. So the last question I'll give to you to ask.
No. I want to correct our learned colleague there who invoked chapter
section 2.
That's what the Constitution is. It's not the why.
Why do we
They
have
asked
it?
The why.
Why
And
do we
the
have
two ladies
it?
gave the why quite perfect.
Yeah, but that's why I wanted to know why. Why are we having it? And I think that's why we can amend it. The tickets are finished, right? Ladies and gentlemen, lunch is served outside. Thank you very much. We hope to see you in the near future. You're a beautiful crowd. Thank you so much, Stan.
Thank you. Hey,
With all our challenges, we really try to make it work. Hey,
I was doing it for.
Oh, no, hey, please.